The new science fiction film Annihilation hit the cinemas this past weekend. Will it annihilate the box office or our sensibilities? Let's discuss. Annihilation is the latest film from director Alex Garland, who's perhaps best known at this point for the sci-fi cult classic Ex Machina, amongst other films. This film is based on the 2014 award-winning novel by Jeff VanderMeer and stars Natalie Portman, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Oscar Isaac, Gina Rodriguez, and Tessa Thompson. In the movie, Portman plays Lena. She is a former soldier who is now a biologist, and at the opening of the story, she is mourning her husband, Kane, a soldier played by Oscar Isaac who never returned from a classified mission. And by this point, he's presumed dead. But he shows up randomly and is apparently dying. Now, on the way to the hospital, their ambulance is intercepted by a motorcade of black SUVs filled with men in black. Generic men in black. Lena and Kane are taken to a place designated as Area X. There, Lena meets a psychologist, Dr. Ventress, played by Jennifer Jason Leigh, who is gearing up for an expedition, the latest of many, into an expanding area called the Shimmer. The Shimmer is a mysterious zone that no one or thing has ever returned from until Lena's husband does. Lena becomes part of the expedition in hopes that she, as a biologist, can determine the cause of Kane's illness and save his life. Now, the expedition is made up of a team of 5 women in total, which includes Lena as the team's biologist, Ventress as the team's leader, Gina Rodriguez as Anya Thorensen, a paramedic, Tessa Thompson as Josie Radek, a physicist, and Tuva Novotny as Cass Shepard, a geologist. Without saying too much, because this one I don't want to spoil for reasons I'll go into shortly, the women enter the Shimmer in hopes of reaching Ground Zero, or the source of the Shimmer. As they progress, they encounter mutations in the plant and animal life which seem to intensify as they penetrate the Shimmer further. Now, Garland does a very good job of methodically unfolding the story to keep us hooked. He tells the story by jumping back and forth, heavily using flashbacks, sometimes ambushing us with them. Now, the narrative is easy to track, but it does keep us off balance. He, of course, uses Portman as the vehicle to tell the story. Thanks to the flashbacks, we find out some very interesting things, unexpected things about her character that may further contribute to her desire to venture into the Shimmer. Visually, the film is perfect. This means Garland has not tried to blow us away with mind-bending visual effects, but instead the digital and practical effects serve the story just as they're needed. Once we penetrate the Shimmer, we see mostly woods. Garland doesn't pull out the razzle-dazzle until it's time. The same could be said of the gore. Now, there's not a lot of that, but what there is makes the intended impact. The atmosphere of the film is all-encompassing. While not being visually assaulted at every second, we do feel like something is always off-center. Garland also peppers in some downright creepy moments. One is so creepy it stayed with me long after I left the theater. Yet conceptually, it's pretty simple. The performances are competent, but aside from Lena, the characters serve as little more as a lens to view this world through and allow us to learn the little bit we do about this environment from their exchanges. They are also, in some capacity, it seems, used to illustrate some higher concepts introduced in the film as to the nature of people. I know that's vague, I'm sorry. Some of the earlier heated exchanges of the characters seems to be there to manufacture tension, but for the most part, those exchanges are just noisy. Okay, Gina Rodriguez is noisy. But to cut to the chase, Annihilation doesn't work for me because it feels unfinished. I didn't spoil this one because others might watch it and get an entirely different impression and get more out of the ending. But that said, to suggest that the ending is subject to interpretation, I feel is a mite generous. I referenced some concepts introduced early on about human nature, and that seems to be a recurring theme throughout, but for me, the aha moment never clicked. I don't have a problem with ambiguity in films. I'm not a believer that everything needs to be explained, but a film should give you enough information to be able to decide how you feel about it. The ending of Annihilation is all the more frustrating because Garland does such a great job getting us there, but this is a trip to the store with no money. It might not be as big of an issue if the film had a high rewatchability factor. I'm not sure that it does, at least not yet. Not having read the book, though, I could be missing some component pieces that would make the movie click for me. But a film should never make the book required reading, especially in this case, as a lot of the buzz around this particular book is that while it was strange and unusual and very well done, it describes many things as impossible to visualize, which by definition makes it unfilmable. I understand that this film will be premiering in the UK on Netflix in the very near future. That might have been a better venue for it across the board. This feels more like an episode of, say, The Outer Limits. Annihilation gets 2.5. So that's my take. What's yours? Please, I'm dying to know. Leave your comments below, whether they agree with mine or not. I would really love to know your theory about the ending, so I really want to talk about this one. And if you like what we're doing here at our baby channel, we're just getting started and invite you to join us. Please subscribe and click the bell so you can get spoiled. Be good to each other.